Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. I thought that today, considering that tonight potentially the Florida Panthers can win the Stanley Cup, if they're going to win this evening, I thought it'd be interesting just to take a look at the NHL 24 EA game here and play a game and see whether or not the Panthers can take it home. I'm going to play single elimination here, so one game takes it all. This is for the Stanley Cup. I usually do a coin flip to see which team I play with. So I'm just going to do a quick one here, and we're going to go with the Oilers today. So playing with the Edmonton Oilers. And again, this is a single knockout tournament here. Whoever wins this game wins the Stanley Cup. Of course, tonight, very different. The Oilers need to continue playing this evening to, or continue to win this evening in order for the playoffs to go to Game 7, which I think is on Friday. So, and of course, if Florida Panthers win, then they take it home tonight. Anyways, let's have Edmonton versus Florida here, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to be playing with the Edmonton Oilers. I always like to play with the home jerseys. I don't know why the NHL consistently has white jerseys in the league and why they don't try to stay away from that. I mean, considering the fact that they play on a white surface, to me it just makes more sense. It'd be a lot more colorful, especially when you have two teams that are that have two very different home jerseys color-wise. That why they just don't have those teams wear their colored jerseys, if you will. It would just make it a lot more colorful. Again, it's just too much white. But anyways, it is what it is. So here we go. The game tonight is going to be, I think it's in Florida. This one's taking place in Edmonton. That's fine. So let's see what happens here. And we'll see whether the Oilers can take it here or whether Florida's going to take it. Obviously, Florida's one game away from winning the Cup. Quite frankly, Florida looks like the much better team playing. The games that they have won, I mean, they won that last game by quite a wide margin. Was it 5-2 or something similar to that? Some score like that. And then there was a game prior to Game 3 where they just destroyed the Oilers. Or I think it was actually Game 3 where they scored 7 goals, I think it was, in that game. And won that game. The games that the Oilers have won, at least the last 2 games that the Oilers have won, they've won them by 1 goal and required overtime. So the Panthers have really looked like much better team than the Oilers have. So we'll see tonight whether or not they take the Cup. My prediction is that the Oilers are going to squeak another one tonight, force a Game 7. I think that Pickard's going to play tonight. I think in my opinion, I think he's probably right now a better goaltender than Skinner. Skinner just really looks shell-shocked a lot of times. Although he looks pretty good here. And I think that, what was I saying here? Well, I think that you're going to win it, the Oilers, tonight. Pickard will probably start in net. Force a Game 7. I think that once, however, it comes down to a Game 7, I think that the Panthers are just a much better team overall and will probably take the Stanley Cup on Friday night. But, who knows? This is why they play games, and this is why, we watch the games. It's because our predictions usually, at least my predictions, usually aren't 100% right. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I think that this is just how the teams have played. I think that this has been a one-sided final. And I think that Florida will ultimately take the Stanley Cup. The question, I guess, that we're left with is, at least in my mind, is who's going to take the Conn Smythe, who's going to take the playoff MVP, if the Panthers do end up winning the game, I think somebody like Sam Bennett looks really good to win the Conn Smythe. I know that Bennett's got just looking at the stats here, 22 points I think he's, fourth in playoff scoring with 22 points. He's got an incredible, 15 goals? Yeah, 15 goals these playoffs. So he's really done incredibly well. So he's somebody that I think is going to win the playoff MVP. I think that somebody like Brad Marchand, the player that's been around for a whole bunch of years, I think he's got a great chance here of winning the MVP, of winning the Conn Smythe. He's got 10 goals, 20 points. Matthew Tkachuk, another maybe on the outside looking in. He's got 22 points in the playoffs. He's got 7 goals in these playoffs. So those are my picks. I don't think that Bobrovsky's had that playoff performance this year to, in my mind, be a consideration for the Conn Smythe. But there's always a chance that he might win it. On the other side of things, the Oilers really at times just seem to be a two-player team, and obviously with McDavid and Draisaitl, and really they are two of the best players in the league, and they lead the scoring race. They're tied at the top of the scoring race with 33 points each. Draisaitl's got 11 goals. But both of them lead the top, and I think actually Bouchard is number 3 on that list. If the Oilers end up winning the Stanley Cup, I think that it's going to be one of those two that ends up winning the Conn Smythe. I don't think it'll be Skinner. I think that, and this is again my opinion, but I think that if the Oilers had a goaltender that was better than Skinner, I think that they probably would have won last year's Stanley Cup. I think that they would have been way ahead here in the finals. It's just unfortunate that Skinner hasn't played very well, and I think that he's played the best that he can, but he hasn't. And if it wasn't for Pickard, likely the Oilers would have lost in the first round to the LA Kings. So. It's certainly, if I was coaching the Oilers, Pickard would be starting the next, not only tonight's game, but as well, should there be a game 7, he'd be starting that game as well. And it's tough for the coaches not to put their starters, especially if it does get to a game 7. I mean, we saw this in Dallas where Ottinger, I think when that elimination game against the Oilers, there we go. Is that Connor Brown? Is that Nugent Hopkins? I can't tell here. It's Josh Brown. Okay, well, there you go. Josh Brown scored a goal. Is Josh Brown even on this team? Anyways, scores a goal. So there you go. Bobrovsky lying on the ground. Just so back to what I was saying. And there were the Dallas Stars were in that winner or die game, and they didn't play Ottinger. They played the backup. And Casey DeSmith, and it looks like it cost Peter DeBoer's job out in Dallas. From what I've seen, I'm not sure actually if what I've seen on Twitter is correct or just rumors or speculation, but and it's tough, to make that call and start your backup in a do or die game. Than doing your starter or starting your starting goaltender. And I think if the Oilers are in that position, it's going to be tough as well for the coach of the Oilers. Great save. The coach of the Oilers to make that call. And you might see Jeff Skinner, not Jeff Skinner, but Stuart Skinner in goal. It would be an interesting game if Jeff Skinner were to start in goal. But you might see him start in that game 7 if that does happen. And from my perspective, I think it's a bit of a shame. But I certainly understand if that happens. Stuart Skinner has been the starter, and that might still happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see whether or not the Oilers can pull it off and come back. But and I think that they'll squeak one through, maybe even in overtime. But if it does go to a game 7, regardless, I think that the Panthers are probably going to pull out another lopsided victory and take the cup, which will be their second Stanley Cup. So, and points for them. They got a great team. I mean, they have, overall, I think their team has a lot more depth than the Oilers. Granted, the Oilers have the two best players on the ice, but after that, it gets really shaky. And, not only of the players that I've mentioned, but as well guys like Sam Reinhart, guys like Carter Verhaeghe, Alexander Barkov, who hasn't really done much in these playoffs, but a legitimate superstar in the league. What did he win, the Selke this year, I think? So he's a great player. So we'll see what happens. And excuse me for the siren in the background, but looks like there's a fire truck or an ambulance passing by. So yeah, it's going to be a great game. I'm excited. I'm always excited to watch these Stanley Cup Finals, just because of a big, huge hockey fan, and being a Canuck, being somebody from north of the border. I am cheering for the Oilers. I'd love to see a Canadian team. At this point, I'll even cheer for the hated Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. But it's been a really, really long time since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. Not since the 92-93 season, since the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup, has a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. And it would really be nice to see the Oilers win it. And really, I think a player like Connor McDavid, who's going to go down in history as not only a Hall of Famer, but one of the greatest players to ever play the game. I mean, he should have, a few cups at this point. Certainly one. I'd hate to see him go through his entire career and end up like Marcel Dion, who is a great player in the league and never won a cup. It just doesn't seem right. Players like that, players like Connor McDavid. There we go, Darnell Nurse. Players like Connor McDavid should have, multiple Stanley Cup rings, not just one. So. But yeah, I mean the what I like to call the Gary Bettman curse continues. Since he took over the league, and he did take over the league in 92-93 when the Canadiens won the Stanley Cup. He took over the league, I think, halfway through the regular season. But since it's been under his reign, shall you say, no Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup, and it's been long. I like to compare it to something like the curse of the Billy Goat or the curse of the Bambino in baseball. It's just these things just happen, and I like to call it the Bettman curse. And will it be broken this year? We'll see a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup this year. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope it does happen. I hope that the Oilers do pull it off. Again, I just love to see somebody like Connor McDavid win a Stanley Cup, because he deserves it. He's such a great player. But whether or not that happens, and I don't think it will. It might have to wait another year. And that's just hockey. That's just sports. Call it a curse, call it whatever. Unfortunately, it will continue. Personally, I'd love to see my Vancouver Canucks win the Stanley Cup, but I think they're only one of two of the NHL teams in Canada that haven't won the Stanley Cup at all. I think them and the Winnipeg Jets. The Senators, although the reincarnated Senators, they came back into the league. Oh, they scored. No goal. Oh, interesting. I wonder why there was no goal call here. Huh. Was it goaltender? Oh, yeah, goaltender interference. Yeah. Ekblad's goal, but Sam Bennett crashing the crease. We've been seeing that during these finals quite a bit. Sam Bennett again here, even in the games, causing some havoc. So he just cost the Panthers some goal there. That's what he gets. So no goal. Score still 2-0 here. I think we have 4 minutes or so to go. I'm playing the fast version here, 3 minutes per period. Playing semi-pro. It's just easier to play and talk at the same time on semi-pro as opposed to superstar or pro even. So this is just easier for me, or else you'd be seeing a lopsided score of the other team, just beating the bejesus out of me. So yeah. Well, let's see here. We can get Draisaitl to go. So you know that's all going to come down to tonight. And the Game 7 is necessary. It's Friday night, and we're gonna see. You're gonna see who lifts the cup. I'm playing here on NHL 24. That's the version that I have. I know that there's I think a couple of versions after this one, but you know I don't spend. I don't buy. Oh, empty netter score. Jeff Skinner scores. There we go. This one's cemented. Looks like the Oilers are gonna take the cup. Beautiful. Boy, wouldn't that be something to... I'm sure all the fans in Edmonton, Oiler fans, would love to see that at the end of the year. But we'll, you know, we'll see if that happens. Yeah, so that's the game here. Is it going to predict the outcome of tonight's game? Yeah, like I said, I think the Oilers are going to win. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 score. Pretty much guarantee it. But there you go. You got the Oilers winning the cup. That would be a sight to see and behold if that were to happen. But again, I don't think it's going to happen. Turn it up there. Listen to the fans. You know, if the Oilers do win the Stanley Cup, it's going to have to be at home. So who knows? Maybe this is a prediction for Friday's game. So, well, there you go. You have your Conn Smythe winner. I guarantee you that this will not be happening in real life at all. You know, if the Oilers do win the cup, it's going to go to McDavid or Draisaitl. So here we go. Obviously, if that were the real cup, what's his name? Bruce Pritchard, keeper of the cup, would be out there presenting the Stanley Cup with Gary Bettman, or Gary Bettman would be presenting it. But here we go. Yeah, we need to see that in real life. We need to see that guy lift the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's just not right having a player of his caliber without a Stanley Cup ring. I really like this quite a bit of presenting the cup or to the next player. This is something that they added in this game, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love this because this is something that you would see. A player that you don't see on here though is Draisaitl. Oh wow, Draisaitl's not on here. That's really weird. Well, I guess that's strange. Draisaitl will certainly be the number one choice that the captain would give it to. I think that if this is going to happen, that the very first person that McDavid will give the Stanley Cup to is going to be Draisaitl. So that's kind of odd that his name wasn't on there. Maybe is it on now? No, it's not. It's so strange. It's Bouchard then, I guess. He's third right now in the league with 23 points in the playoffs, 7 goals. So he's doing absolutely great. He's really a great find for the Edmonton Oilers there. They were just stuck with, not stuck, but they had Darnell Nurse, and offensively, really not there. Offensively, wasn't really as a threat as Bouchard, and they have went and got Ekholm, who's a great defenseman, but Bouchard adds that offensive firepower from the defense. So that was a really great find for the Oilers. They just really need to get that number one, that A goaltender. If they had that, this team would be a dynasty. And maybe a few other pieces, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So there you go, folks. That's the picture. You know, the great picture, as they say, all the players that ever won a Stanley Cup. You know, they have that picture in their dens, in their offices at home. This is the one, and who knows? This is another feature as well that they put in this game that I really, really like. It's actually seeing the names of the players on the Stanley Cup, and fantastic feature. So you got the Oilers logo being shown. Edmonton Oilers, even with all the players, and I've changed the rosters and I put the players on here, and it's the names of the actual players that are on the team in the Stanley Cup is what you see there, and they did a really, really great job. And seeing Connor McDavid there, captain, Let's see that. Let's see that. I know I'm showing some favoritism there, but I'd love to see that. Anyways, folks, that's the video for today. That's the prediction for tonight. The Oilers are going to pull it off. Let's see what happens. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch this game. I'm going to be cheering for the Oilers, and I'll be cheering for the Oilers if there's a Game 7 as well. But, you know, that's the thrill of sports. So anyways, folks, hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a like. If you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe. And until next time, hey, enjoy the game out there. As Ed Johnson used to say, it's a great day for hockey.